Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, My Space, My Room, and I'm Nikita, the hostess with the mostest, and over here, okay, we focus on all things that are going to improve the quality of your life. So if you like stuff like that, do me a favor, be my best friend, and go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I do a video, which is every week. Yay! So let's get right into the meat of things. And we're going to be talking about sodium bicarbonate, also known as baking soda. Okay. I posted a video on TikTok that kind of went viral, 1.1 million views. I know. Thank you. Thank you. It kind of went viral, but it was on a protocol of baking soda where this guy Vernon Johnson reversed carcinose in his body. He had prostate carcinose, which um, metastasized into bone cancer. So he was able to reverse that in 11 days with the protocol that I'm about to give you. Okay, but before I give you the protocol, I do want to say that one, I am not a doctor. I'm not your doctor. I never intended to be a doctor. None of that. Okay, I'm doing this for educational purposes. And if you decide to do this, you must do this at your own risk. And I would highly suggest that you listen to this whole video in its entirety, not just fast forward, but just kind of increase the playback speed so it goes faster, because you want to make sure that this is a protocol that actually works for you and the condition that you're currently in. I don't want you to get hurt by trying to actually reverse something in your body. So we're going to get straight into it. Okay. So, first of all, the book I read, Sodium Bicarbonate, Nature's Unique First Aid Remedy. Great book, so many different remedies for baking soda for health, like diabetes, kidney failure, and stuff like this, and also carcinose. Also, by the way, I replaced the word carcinose for the word cancer just because I just read that Hippocrates actually coined it carcinose before it was coined cancer. So I like the word carcinose, so that's the word that I'm going to use from here on out. I like carcinose better. I don't know. It's just kind of like a fancy way of saying it, but I call it carcinose now. But yeah, great book. The link is in my description box below to my Amazon store, so you can support me that way. Also, bless you. So let's get into it. So this is how I actually came across Vernon Johnson and the protocol that he did to reverse the carcinose in his body. So definitely get this book. So what happens? There's a saying, once baking soda gets into the stomach, it gets neutralized. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. But that's actually not the case, because what happens is once it gets to the stomach, the bicarbonate actually gets into the blood. And what you need to know is that bicarbonate is pretty much the same thing as carbon dioxide, right? So you need carbon dioxide in order for hemoglobin to be released from the blood. So taking this kind of fills the body up with carbon dioxide. And what we know about an oxygenated body is that disease can't thrive in it. So that is literally what's happening. Now, in this book, the ingredients that you need are blackstrap molasses, and you need baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. Now, you can substitute blackstrap molasses for honey or maple syrup. Blackstrap molasses does have some other benefits like potassium and iron and calcium. So they do have other benefits, the blackstrap molasses. So that is why you want to take it. You can substitute with honey or maple syrup. I would just kind of get the best, like the best of the best, right? And the reason why we're using a blackstrap molasses or a honey is because it's like the bait and hook technique, I guess. What we know about carcinose is that it no longer relies on like oxygen or anything, and it ferments, and it's using the glucose from the food that you eat. So if you have carcinose and you're just consuming all of these carbs and all of these processed sugars and things like that, you're feeding the cancer and allowing it to grow. And I just said cancer, but hey, um, but that's what's happening. So the blackstrap molasses is kind of used as like the bait, to open up the cells, the carcinoma cells, so that the bicarbonate can go in. But I will say, the more that I am learning, the more that I am researching, I I understand that the blackstrap molasses really isn't necessary. But the protocol does call for blackstrap molasses. Okay. Now, when it comes to the baking soda, you just want to make sure you're getting sodium bicarbonate. I know there's some controversy around, oh, Arm& Hammer has aluminum, even though I've done research and numerous times people that represent the company have said several times that there's no aluminum in Arm& Hammer baking soda, but it is in the baking powder. So there are differences there, but let's not make a big fuss about it, right? You just get what works for you and let other people do what they do for themselves. That's how we gonna work that one. Okay, do what works best for you. Okay, now let's talk about who should and shouldn't do this, right? And in the book, I have it here. I just want to make sure, like, this is important. I do know that you should not use this on children who are 5 and under. This is not for them. If you who are 5 and under, or if your doctor has placed you on a sodium restriction diet, you may want to consult your physician for that. I'm not your physician. It does say that antacids may interact with certain prescription drugs, so you may want to consult your physician for that as well. Now, what's most important, right, is that because we're putting this alkalizing thing into our stomach, you do not want to take this when you're full. Don't want to take it right before you eat. You don't want to take it right after you eat. You want to allow at least an hour to 2 hours in between eating. So if you're going to take it before you eat, do that at least an hour, 2 hours before you eat, so that this does not mess up your stomach. Because in the book, it does reference a guy whose stomach almost burst because he did this protocol with a full stomach right after he ate. So please do not do that. Okay, we're in the business of taking care of ourselves, so we want to be smart about these things, and that's why I'm giving you this information, and I hope you're listening to it and you're not fast forwarding it. Okay, that's what I hope you're not doing. Okay, so for people with rare illnesses, for Bartter syndrome or a Geidelman syndrome, you may not want to do this. It also says serious precautions should be taken by individuals who suffer from chronic pulmonary problems, or if you have like a lung disease, a lung problem, and you have a problem with releasing carbon dioxide. This may not be the protocol for you. But guess what? There's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. And the more that I read, the more that I learn. I am learning that you can reverse it. You can reverse carcinoma in using several different methods, right? Radical change. Okay. Radical change is whether you're fasting, you're doing intermittent fasting, you've completely stopped eating, you're doing sodium bicarbonate, you're going into ketosis. There are several things that you could do to slow down carcinoma in the body. Okay, there's several things you can do. Now, another important thing is that you also need pH test strips, and you want to test your pH daily. Why? Because you do not want to go over 8. You do not want your pH to go over 8. In Vernon, he kind of went into 8.2, 8.5, but you don't want to go any more than that, because like I said, we're in the business of healing and reversing obstructions in our body, and we're not trying to cause another problem because we're doing something that's meant to be good and we're making it bad because we're overusing or misusing it. Okay, so let's make sure that we're testing our pH. I have a link to my Amazon store where you can get pH testers. You don't need to go and get the most expensive ones. I know I kind of always kind of in my mind I know I'm like, if it's expensive then I know it's gonna work, right? But you don't need to get the most expensive ones. But if that's you, then you get what you want for yourself. But you want to test the pH of your saliva as well as your urine. Okay. And you will actually see that there are differences, and there are some factors that that come into play with like the bacteria in your mouth and stuff like that, that come into play with the pH of your saliva, and then waste and stuff and toxins that come out of your urine. So, but you'll see that there's a difference there. But you just want to stay at least 8, because what we know is that at around the pH of 8, carcinodes cannot really thrive there. So we just kind of want to maintain that 8 pH, and that's what this sodium bicarbonate is going to do. Now that we've covered the basics, you made it. You made it. Let's get into the protocol. It's very simple. Also know that you may encounter some symptoms like nauseousness, a little bit of diarrhea, lightheadedness. And I do want to mention this, that this isn't like set in stone, right? If you notice that you're getting to a high pH. When I did it, my pH changed from like it was like a 6.5, it changed to an 8, around an 8 in like 2 days. So it's different. So if you're noticing that maybe you're supposed to be going up on the baking soda and you're already at 8, then you can be like, okay, so I'm not going to do that, right? So you just kind of have to like tailor it to yourself, and that's why it's critically important that you're monitoring your pH so that you don't go into metabolic alkalosis, because that's a whole nother problem, and you don't want to do that. So please make sure you're testing your pH daily. Okay, this is just 11 days. This is just 11 days. And also know you can do baking soda as like a maintenance program, and you just take a teaspoon or half a teaspoon in some water, and you always go 2 weeks on, a week off, and then you start it back up. You don't do baking soda consistently. It's even on the directions on the box, guys. You don't do it for more than 2 weeks at a time. So you can do the protocol for 2 weeks, right? And then you can take a break, and then you start it back up. But do not do this consistently, day in, day out, day in, day out. Okay. Okay. I think I've covered everything there. Okay. So now what we're going to do is the protocol. Very simple. So day 1 through day 4, it's 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of blackstrap molasses to 1 cup of water, 1 time a day. And again, that's day 1 through 4. Day 5, you're going to do 1 teaspoon of blackstrap molasses, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and you're going to do it 2 times a day. On day 6, you're going to do 2 teaspoons of blackstrap molasses and 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and you're going to do this 2 times a day. I will say this is also the time that Vernon started to notice symptoms like nauseousness. And it was on day 6 that he realized that his pH was about a 7.25 to 8.0. On day 7, the first dose, he did 3 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of blackstrap molasses. On the second dose for the day, he did 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of blackstrap molasses. So on day 7, the first dose was different from the second. So just make sure you're following that. Okay, and then on day 8, he took the same dosage, the 2 teaspoons. He took the same dosage of the 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of blackstrap molasses, and he did that 3 times a day. On day 9, he continued with that same dosage. And on day 10, he went down from 3 times a day to 2 times a day. And again, that's the same 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of blackstrap molasses. And on day 11, he went down to a teaspoon and a half of baking soda. I believe it was once a day, and then he went to his doctor's appointment. He had his scans, and that's when he was told that the cancer was no longer, or carcinoma was no longer there. So that is the baking soda protocol. And I hope that this blesses you in some kind of way. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll be more than happy to either do another video or answer the comments for you to give you more detail. I do recommend that you purchase the book. It has great details in it. I recommend it, highly recommend the book. But y'all, please subscribe, click the notification bell, and I hope that this has blessed you in some kind of way. And until next time, bye.